Hello, my name is Craig Nash. I would like to welcome you to another It's a Grand Life. And for those of us that are a little older than the majority of the population, you're not going to want to miss this one. This is really part of the grand life for all of us. And our guest today is Stefano Selorio, who is the CEO and founder of a company called Carevocacy. And he keeps using the latest technology and putting the cookies on the lower shelf for us seniors so that when we have tech questions and when we're having challenges and what have you that are so routine if you're 24, but we leave us with scratching our head if you're older. And I know you folks know what I'm talking about. But Stefano, I can't wait to hear about the work you're doing. And thank you so much for joining us on It's a Grand Life.
Thank you so much, Greg. I'm happy to be here, and I appreciate you for allowing me to share what we do and the awesome stuff that we get to do. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much.
That's just my pleasure. And we're going to, Lord willing, chat with Stefano a couple times. So on this broadcast, we're just going to get a little background on his company and what led him to do the work that he's doing. And then we're next week, we're going to actually take a look at a new AI tool. That's right. I said AI, and I know in our world that's like swearing. But he has taken the artificial intelligence and he's made it so easy for seniors like myself to get the tech answers we need remotely in a simple text format. So first of all, Stefano, this is absolutely great to have you here. And the first question I have is, how did you develop a business for seniors? What was your motivation?
Yeah, thank you for that question, Craig. And also a precaution, everybody. I'm sorry if I'm wearing a mask. I find it so funny. I was telling Greg that I'm actually fighting through a viral infection right now. So typically you would see my face, but yeah. So just to kind of give a little bit of a background, about 6 years ago, my family and I decided to become caregivers to my grandma who's living with Alzheimer's. And that was actually during my freshman year or sophomore year of college. And my family and I never really had any experience taking care of somebody elderly like that, and I also was so excited to actually have my grandma over. I remember growing up, always excited to have grandparents around, but our grandparents were always in the Philippines, and our friends' grandparents were always at home or somewhere else, and it was interesting to bring her here and to have her here, but also have that experience as a caregiver and dealing with Alzheimer's. But over time, I, you know, for being a caregiver, it definitely affected a lot of the things that opportunities I could have gone for, like for example, job, career-wise, school, all these kind of things. And I got to a point around 2 years into it. I said, like, maybe I want to like start a company or do something to solve my problem first, my family's problem. And I think for most caregivers, that is taking back our time, especially helping our loved ones. And so, I said to myself, I was like, you know what, let me explore like what is the tools out there for what are the tools out there for caregiving and older adults in general. And I spent almost a year into before we launched Carevocacy, kind of just exploring, from the business side to the personal side to the caregiving side to the home senior care side to everywhere about what it means to be aging and to be older adults, especially in the United States. And again, after a year of research and going through a lot of pivots and programs, I was thinking about, root problems that I think people tend to ignore, not because they're not big problems, but
Right.
because it's really just hard to solve, and it's just so arduous sometimes. And I again, what we do, I think it's nothing necessarily novel, like delivering tech education. But I think when I chose to decide to do digital literacy for older adults, it was really with an approach with how do we really change the stigma around older adults and see technology, right? And my background is actually in marketing, and immediately I thought, okay, let me change the narrative, the brand, the way we talk about things, how do we stand out so that people really understand like this is a big problem, but it doesn't have to be a sad or unfortunate problem, right? Because that's really just around the topic of older adults and technology. And I thought, let me just bring some sort of fun and liveliness to it. And that's how we really launched. It was really a culmination of my personal and current experience as a caregiver, also my culture background, but then also just really being a little bit of a rebel in the space of like, how do we really change the narrative and the conversation around digital literacy for senior citizens?
Well, you have put the tools together to absolutely impact the conversation of digital literacy for seniors. And I don't know anybody in my world that can't use a little support every now and then. And what really has, you taking care or helping to take care of your grandma, which we just love, has really given you sensitivity to what are seniors wrestling with, and how can I address that? And the Carevocacy tool is just so neat, and it's what you call tutoring through Carevocacy, right? It's actually an online tutor. And why don't you tell our audience what type of tutoring are you doing through this tool? And I think it's going to resonate with everybody at home. So go ahead, my friend.
Of course. Yeah, I appreciate it. And as I said, like, we talked about this before the episode, like a lot of the things that we build in our team or the products we build, it's kind of really coming from a place of like, I think the first thing I think about is if, let's say, if my grandma were to use this, whether she before or during her Alzheimer's, like, have we built something that she could actually have access to? And I think that kind of shapes a lot of our product design. And so I think that's, I feel like that's a very unique position to be in as a founder in the space, and to be able to really be living in this and actually talking about it and living in it. But going back to like some of the things that we actually do, Carevocacy actually provides about 3 interventions or solutions. One, we actually have, if you go on our website, we have a platform that matches lifelong learners with tech tutors that it's done online. And so you tell us a little bit about what you're trying to learn, or if it's someone that's trying to sign you up for them, you tell us what they're trying to learn. You tell us the times and dates and ranges, and we try to do a consultation call, ask a little bit more about you, really get to know you before actually diving into technology classes and lessons and the tutoring, because I think our approach is very much holistic in the way that we want to learn about somebody. And then we try to find somebody based on all those answers and assessments, someone who can actually fit around not your only personality, but your schedule and your availability, as well as your background and experience.
Right.
And the good thing on our side is that we have a variety of tech tutors, whether they're middle age, older adult, anybody can be one. So that's our matching platform. And then second, we actually provide on-site and online classes. And I can dive into a little bit about that later, but typically what we do is we work with healthcare payers and providers to basically work with their patients to provide these on-site or online classes so that their patients are more educated and active participants in their healthcare. So, we cover a variety of topics like online safety to patient portals and telehealth. So we do a variety of topics. And then the last tool that I think that gets you excited, Craig, is our artificial intelligence tool, which is a digital health literacy coach. And it's it's actually deployed via texting, like SMS. And it's really interesting because, to be frank with you, in regards to all our other services and products, it's the most scalable and accessible way for people to learn, to be curious, to have a resource that they can kind of lean onto when sometimes they may not have one. And so that's something that we're really excited about building out this year, as well as the years to come, as we continue to use the work of artificial intelligence, as well as the work that we've done over the years.
So, Stefano, so what you're saying to our audience is you don't have to be afraid of AI. There's a way to channel it that will be a blessing to you when you're, this far from pulling your hair out. just ask the question of Oppo, and it gets you the answer that you need,
Yes.
and you can move forward. And it's I I know we're going to talk about this in the next week, but I just started working with Oppo, and I had 3 real life questions or problems with the technology, and it answered it in about 3 minutes. About less than a minute a question. It was really pretty amazing. But the type of services that you're currently offering through Carevocacy is something like connecting through the internet, right? Or using how to use your computer or stop spam calls. It's pretty broad. It's not just how to log in to something. You and your team have really tried to identify all of the Advil moments, I call them, when we're reaching for the bottle of Advil because this is giving us a migraine, and or how to take pictures on your phone. Or I'm sure you help transfer pictures to get them printed if possible, or recovering your password. I mean, this is
So fun story, Craig. We actually had a 90-year-old lifelong learner learn how to use TikTok. And this incredible person is a Holocaust survivor. He has also served, and he's also a maestro, a composer, a pianist, just an amazing musically talented person. But he wanted to find a way to actually show his music, his work, and who he was in an online platform. And so we assisted him with learning how to use TikTok and how to record himself every day through video, and then how to upload that. And his wife was also a huge supporter of that too. And they became like a really like cute couple that was producing content online. To this day, I love what they're doing and what they're producing. But yeah, no, we have amazing fun stories like that. Who I think end of the day, it's like if you're an older adult who want to reinvest in yourself and know that you're very tech curious enough to want to go after something, I believe we have the solutions that can really help you, and that also really deeply understand you. Because I like what I like to say is like, we're not tech support, we're tech education. And I think tech support really just solves those problems, those immediate problems, but then it doesn't really build you so that what if that problem happens again? Are you able to know how to resolve it yourself, or do you have to just constantly rely on someone who can just do it immediately for you? Which, it's the easy way out, but as we all know, technology will always change, and there are
right.
always moments that you have to troubleshoot. And like internally, I tell my team like we don't do their homework. That's what I like to say. Like we don't do your homework. We're not here to finish your homework. We're here to help you learn how to do these things.
Oh, I love that, and I love the language that you use. Are you tech curious? I mean, I've never heard that before. At where folks are, or are you allergic to tech? Is probably more appropriate as opposed to tech curious. But you have a couple in their 90s, Holocaust survivors, that are taking their musical acumen and documenting it on a social media platform and sharing it with the world.
Yes.
That's just
Yeah. I know. I look again. Sometimes we're not the. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of someone who is there and can kind of encourage people to think outside of their box and see what's possible. And I think that's what we do. We open opportunities. We open doors. And we just open up, versions of ourselves that probably we were just ignoring because either we just didn't know how to do it, or we just didn't have the access to. But I think we definitely put technology in the hands of those who are so interested in technology and how they can best be themselves.
This is Stefano. This is absolutely so great. And our guest today on It's a Grand Life is Stefano Selorio, who's the founder and CEO of Carevocacy. And he and his team have put together technology solutions for all of us who are allergic to technology or tech curious, or however you want to say it. And what's the best way to find out about Carevocacy? To go to the website?
Yeah, so it's a long name, but it's Carevocacy. It's right here on my shirt, vocacy.com. It's actually a combination of two words, which is care and advocacy, because I thought when I was doing a lot of my research before we launched, advocacy was such a big word that kept reoccurring for a lot of caregivers. And I think what we're really doing is we're providing advocacy and care into learning how to use technology and technology education in general and whole. So yes, you can follow us, check us out on our website. My recommendation is that if you do have Instagram or TikTok or any social other media platforms, please look up carevocacy.co or just look up Carevocacy there. I don't think anyone has ever taken will ever take our name just because how complicated it is. But Carevocacy on social media like Instagram is the best way to know kind of just a little bit about who we are and the environment that we bring to older adults.
So it's care and advocacy.
Yes.
Carevocacy. So that is so fantastic. And it's carevocacy.com is the website, but you can also find it on Instagram and TikTok, and do you have a Facebook page as well? And
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
That's a
Yes.
dumb question. Of course you would.
No, no, don't, there's no dumb questions. But yes, we do have Twitter, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, and I do have a personal TikTok, which I post a lot of our company stuff. But I also recommend if you're a LinkedIn user like myself, I'm very active on there. Feel free to connect with me via there, because that's really where I get to show a lot of the progress we're making through the founder's voice. And so yeah, that's where I'm mostly active on.
So and this is a subscription service that you're offering, right? That depending on the number of users or the number of times you access the service, or how does that work?
Oh, so great question. So the private tutoring is a subscription-based model. So we actually have different pricing. Right now, we're offering around like 8 30-minute sessions for $250 a month. So those are divided up into like 2 sessions per week, and then you have 30 minutes to really kind of go over certain topics, which has been really great actually for people where they may have busy schedules or appointments. So it's those intervals has been really awesome.
That's great.
So for the private tutoring, that's a subscription-based model, and for the classes, those actually are people don't pay out of pocket for those. That's actually covered by their health insurance provider or their healthcare provider. So yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. Last year we landed a contract with Humana, and so we actually we serve actually 23,000 patients across 19 locations here in Miami. And that's all covered by Humana / their primary care provider. So the seniors or the patients don't pay out of pocket to attend these classes, but they do have free access to technology classes as well as our tech tutors. So that way they, again, be more active participant in their healthcare. And then lastly, Apple AI actually is free. The AI tool right now is free to use, and we do have intent to make it free for a long time. But there might be versions down the road that we will probably charge a premium subscription to. But as of right now, I would highly recommend getting it because it is a free version for everybody to be able to use.
So you've got something for everybody, folks that are looking for
different types of learners.
Yeah, they want a lot of the hands-on. They want to go deep in the weeds regarding technology. You've got private tutors that work one-on-one around your client's time, and if you and this whole idea that the health plans are covering it is brilliant, because there's a big push for everyone to get tech savvy, right? To level the digital playing field, if you will. And you guys are right in the middle of that, and the AI tool, Appo, is free. And I can't wait to chat with you about that next week to find out how that will work for our audience. But friends, I hope you have just enjoyed meeting Stefano and hearing about this phenomenal tool that's available. Go to carevocacy.com. Start playing, and he challenged me. He sent me the AI tool and said, try and break it. And of course I couldn't, but it just cuts through all of the headache that I was trying to download an application that I really needed, and I kept getting kicked out. And his AI tool answered the questions I had so quickly. It was literally amazing. So hopefully we're going to take a look even deeper at the AI product next week, and I know you're going to want to join us for another It's a Grand Life. But Stefano, thank you so much for being our guest here. Look forward to having you back next week to find out how the AI world is going to work for those of us trying to live the grand life. And such a pleasure to know you, and I hope you're going to be a regular here on It's a Grand Life and keep us posted on all the changes that you and your wonderful team are developing for us seniors. So thanks so much for being our guest.
Thank you so much, Greg. I really appreciate it. Again, it was such a blessing and honor to be here. Thank you.
All right, and we will see Stefano next week on It's a Grand Life as we take a look at AI and the grand life. That sounds like something we'll all want to be part of. So, Stefano, thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you for joining us for another It's a Grand Life. Remember to never waste your pain. God can use your situation to bless others even halfway around the world. Be sure and subscribe to It's a Grand Life on our Facebook page, as well as YouTube and any of the various podcast channels that feature the Grand Life podcast. When it comes to raising a grand family, remember the words of the Apostle Paul, who said in 1 Corinthians 13, "Love is patient, love is kind, it always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. Love never fails." In leading your grand family, it's going to take faith, hope, and a whole lot of love. Please reach out to me. I can be a blessing to you and pray for you, or help you connect to free resources that can make your journey a little easier.